can I just say one thing firstly? I love the name Eat, Sleep, Boxing, Repeat.
Welcome back to the ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted as always to be joined by special guest Punch Out Boxing's Ra Hoke, and we are reacting to the news that Britain's Anthony Yarde is set to face David Benavidez for the WBC light heavyweight world title after David Benavidez was linked heavily with fighting Callum Smith instead. Ra, good to be joined by you as always. Give us your reaction to this. What were your immediate thoughts?
Very pleasantly surprised. Think it's a very good fight. As good a fight as Smith v Benavidez would have been. Would also explain why Anthony Yarde and Tunde seemed quite happy when I bumped into them at York Hall at the weekend. So yeah, very good. Like I said though, pleasantly surprised because there was sort of no talk in the media whatsoever about that fight coming off. So yeah, I mean, there's always been criticisms of Yarde's matchmaking, how he fights, sort of lower level guys and then jumps in with the elite. But you could argue that's good management. But yeah, I'm happy and looking forward to it. If it actually is happening, because it's interesting that it's only been announced by the Ring magazine and none of the fighters' respective teams and promoters. So that I thought was a bit odd, but presuming it's happening, yeah, looking forward to it. And I'd say it's close to a 50-50. And obviously Anthony's our local boy, so hoping he can get that world title at the third attempt.
Yeah, for sure. I think it definitely came out of nowhere and there's an instant reaction video. So like we'll kind of see how the news develops. And obviously we don't have kind of official date yet. We're being told a Riyadh season card in November. So yeah, a little while to go. So maybe it kind of wasn't planned to officially be announced for a little while. What did you make of Yard's last performance, Ra? Trilogy against Lyndon Arthur. A lot of people thought he was going to kind of get a stoppage similar maybe to the second fight, but it went the distance and ended up being a fairly close fight. What were your thoughts on that fight and his performance?
There were aspects of it that I was impressed by. Yes, I know you could argue he went backwards because he struggled more third time round than second time round. But I think that there was something not right about Lyndon Arthur in that second fight, like primarily that he didn't want to take the fight. I think Arthur was really up for it this time. Um, and yeah, when he uncharacteristically opted to sort of try and fight off the ropes and hold his ground, um, I thought Yard looked good exchanging with him, getting the better of the exchanges, and that helped him actually win. And that could hold him in good stead for a Benavidez fight. Benavidez isn't going to be boxing behind a jab, is he? So, yeah, it weren't vintage Yard, but I don't read too much into it in terms of how the Benavidez fight will play out.
No, completely fair.
Different. So.
Yeah, and how many? I've just a couple more questions from me, Rob, before I let you go. How high did you rate Benavidez from what we've seen? Because a lot of people obviously see Bivol and Beterbiev as the two best in the division. You might not, but how high do you rate this guy? Do you rate him as the third best fighter in the division? Do you rate him as an elite fighter? What are your thoughts on Benavidez?
No, he's a good contender. That's all. He's certainly not elite, but by my definition. Um, yeah, I think he's a top contender, and he will beat some and lose to some of the other top contenders, depending on styles. So I think he's got a long way off to be classed as elite, especially at light heavyweight. So yeah, I mean, this will tell us a lot more,
Yeah.
I guess, about how he deals with Anthony Yarde.
Yeah, of course. Look, David Benavidez, he's beaten first man to beat David Morrell. He's beaten Kavosdik, first man to beat Demetrius Andrade, beat Caleb Plant. So he's got a good resume, and we'll see how he gets on against Anthony Yarde. All right. What's going to happen here, Ra? Yard will be an underdog, but he's been there before. He's maybe got more experience at a higher level than Benavides, you could say. But what do you think is going to happen? Do you think Yard can pull this off?
I think he can. Benavides has to be considered the favourite because, as you mentioned, he's got a list of much better wins on his resume. Um, but I think Yarda brings something that he's not experienced yet, and that is a tremendous explosive punching power. And Benavides, he's not hard to hit. He has been dropped a couple of times by people lesser punchers than Yard, I would say. Of course, he also brings something which is Yard's Achilles heel in that is high volume. Uh, so I would say that Benavides is the favourite, but I'm going to go with Head as a local boy, I will tip Anthony to do it at the third attempt.
Brilliant. Look, it's going to be a great fight. Look, obviously got a lot of Riyadh season cards set to be announced in the next couple of months. This looks like it's going to be a fight on one of them, and we'll see what happens. Ra, thank you for your time, and I'll speak to you again very soon.